I think
What
that
up,
works.
Mid?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to have this conversation because we didn't get to catch up much at that
Mm-hmm.
OTD event, but even
Mm-hmm.
just like the couple minutes we had convo, I could tell like the way you think the game, the way you talk about basketball. I always
Mm-hmm.
enjoy like soaking up as much knowledge as I can from guys like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you've been good for the space. So I think this will be a
Sure.
good conversation.
I
How's
appreciate that,
your
man. I'm looking forward to it as well.
yeah? How's your season going right now? You in playoffs?
So it's going good. We just clinched the playoff berth today. We had a game earlier today. We just clinched the playoff berth. The regular season ends in May 17th, but we only got two more games because we played a lot of games at the top. Because we played two different leagues. We played EASL, which is like a combination of like the top teams throughout Asia and Korea, Japan, and Taiwan and Mongolia.
So it's like
Um,
Euro Cup
yeah,
and
like a
all that.
Euro Cup
Okay.
type thing. Yeah. So we played that, and then we played P League, which is a domestic league here in Taiwan. It's the top one. So because of that EASL schedule, they had a lot of our games like front heavy. So
Yeah.
now we only got a few games to end the season, but yeah, we
So
just
how
clinched today.
how many games a week typically do you play?
See, this is weird, man. Like this is the weirdest kind of schedule I've kind of seen. So we'll have instances where like we have a back to back, or we'll play like 3 games in 4 days. Then we don't play for 10 days. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's kind of back and forth. But like we played, like we just played one game today, right? We don't play again until the 26th. You know what I'm saying? And then
Damn.
after that, we don't play again until May 9th. So
Damn.
yeah,
And
it's
do y'all,
it's it's,
do y'all
it's weird.
practice every day?
Yes, two. Sometimes it's 2 days, but they 3 hour practices. Like our coach he old school, so you know how that go.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like everywhere you go overseas, like it's so different. Like I remember when
Yeah.
I was in England for a year and we practiced once a week.
Once a
Because
week.
once a week. Because the guys, this was like a low level, but I
Okay.
was there for like I was there for like 2 months. I was like, I'm not doing
Yeah.
this. But it was, you go some places, it's like once a week. You go to some
Mhm.
places, it's twice a day. You go to some
Yeah.
places and it's, like 3-4 times a day or 3-4 times a week. So I
Hmm.
always find it interesting to see how other leagues work. And even club to club is different sometimes.
Yeah, for
What
sure.
are,
It's definitely different for sure.
what are some other players over there in your league you're in now? Like that's where Eugene's at, right? Briscoe.
No, so Eugene is in the CBA. That's China.
Oh,
So
CBA.
So if I was to rank like the leagues in Asia, I would probably say CBA is number one or Japan. It's a tie between them two. Like both of them are really good. Then I think you could go here or Korea. I would say maybe here more than Korea because here it's a little mixture of import guards and big imports, whereas in Korea they just like majority only import bigs, so it's not real diversity.
Yeah.
So I would probably say here's next, and then Korea, and then you could maybe go Mongolia, Philippines. Maybe Philippines might be before Mongolia. So Philippines, then Mongolia, as far as Asia. Honestly, like I would have went back to China this year, but the season didn't start until December. So usually they start around September. You leave in August,
Yeah.
but this year they didn't start till December because of some type of Olympic thing they were doing. And I was like, man, I'm not trying to sit at home until December. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I ended up coming here because of that. But my team wanted me back. I had a couple offers and a couple other places over there, but I just didn't want to sit at home until December, and I'm used to leaving in August. Like
Yeah.
I ain't gonna do that.
What is what's the import rule where you're at? Is it just two
So
imports?
yeah, it's two imports for the whole game. You play two imports, and then you can have So you can have like let's say you have because we have a guy he's African but he went to school here, so you can have a guy like that on the court with
Oh,
you
like
as well,
they call it in the NBL. Australia has this too. It's like a development player.
like a student. I don't know, like a student player, I guess. I don't know,
Yeah.
but we have one of those that the other teams do as well. They have those guys, but we have that, so you can have two imports on the court at a time along with that. But the EASL it's the same way. You can have two imports on the court at one time. And you can have an Asian import. So an Asian import is just a player who has an Asian passport. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you
Yeah.
can have two imports, the Asian import, and we could have the student on the court too. So you know
Yeah.
what I'm
Okay.
saying? You can damn near have four imports in a sense.
Yeah, and again, just kind of like I was talking about with training, like amount of different imports and rules, like from league to league, is always like so interesting. And it
Hmm.
also kind of changes the whole dynamic of how you look at the league
Yeah,
because, again,
sure.
when I was in England, you could only have one.
See,
So,
that's Korea. Korea, you can only have one on the court at a time. That's why I
so
think they only go bigs.
it was a weird dynamic because it was a low league and it wasn't very good, but it was the hardest pro career of my year of my pro year of my career because I was
Hmm.
expected to do everything
You just
and
gotta
I
do
didn't
so
have
much.
guys couldn't shoot around me, so the
Hmm.
paint was packed and it was
Hmm.
physical. I have to play the whole game, and then when I was in Australia, the floor is spaced out like it's a
Yeah,
lot higher level. Pick and
yeah.
rolls and team ball was a lot easier, so I always find that interesting. Well, anyways, the reason I wanted to have you on, obviously, all the stuff that's happening with the one-on-one scene.
Hmm.
Saw the conversation with you and Nas,
Hmm.
and the reason I wanted to have this conversation because I feel like that, like Ty Lawson versus Nesco, for me, didn't move the needle. If Ty would have won, I would have said, yeah, he's supposed to, he's better. But Nesco won, and I'm like, yeah, but Ty's retired. He's not the same
Hmm.
Ty Lawson. It didn't really move the needle.
Hmm.
Briscoe was kind of similar because I'm like, he didn't take it serious. It was kind of like a gimmicky game.
Hmm.
This actually feels like now we're starting to get players like you that are active pros. We're starting to get people like you that watch the space and understand what's happening. Jerome Randall, another one.
Hmm.
I know he's old, he's my age, he's older too,
Yeah.
but he takes it serious. He locks in, and I think the space is getting to a really interesting point to where eyes are getting onto it, but it's like basketball eyes. It's people that take
Hmm.
things serious and lock in. So what are your thoughts? Do you think it's heading in that direction where it's going to eventually just be all pros, all people that take it serious like this? Or do you think there's always going to be a stigma with like, that's YouTube basketball, it's going to be its own thing, and it's not
Um.
ever going to cross that threshold?
Well, honestly, I think that would just kind of depend on how much money is generated throughout the scene because, it's like I know everything got a price for the most part. So if guys are getting, as let's say 5 years down the line, like guys are getting 30, 40,000 for a pay-per-view game, then a lot of the overseas guys for sure will, look at that as a way like, okay, if they match the criteria and can,
Yeah.
bring um that type of attention to the space, then why not? You know what I mean? Like I have a few guys that I know now that are very interested. I don't know if they'll pull those type of numbers right now, but they're really good players that if they were to go do a season on TNC or do a season on OTD, that they would stand out because they're really good. So
Yeah.
I think that it's trending in the right space. I think that sponsorships are going to be a big thing that these platforms are going to really need sponsorships because obviously there if guys don't join, like let's say like a lot of pros don't join and you kind of continue with the guys who are in the YouTube space now, at some point you're going to get tired of seeing certain matchups because they just continue to rinse them over and over again. So because of that, you got to go get more players, and with you going to get more players, you're going to have to spend a little more money. You got to go to a couple more places. So I think you need more sponsors. I think you need more people that are really invested into the space that can help you grow because it's a great opportunity for basketball to for another form of basketball to be spread across the world. Like you see how big even just forget me and the Nas thing. Just even before then, like you can't get on the internet and not see highlights of Nas versus Scoob or Zay versus Rob or
Yeah.
LP versus these guys. Like you can't, especially right after an event ends. So it shows you where it's trending in the right area. It's just it's just the money that you need for anything, like anything to blow up. Really, you need a lot of money to do it. For
Yeah.
real. For real. So I think that's kind of what it's gonna come down to.
Yeah. I agree. I think that money will come because everyone's going to see the eyes, the amount of views that it pulls, and
Hmm.
people are going to get interested in those types of opportunities. But I do think you're right. Those sponsorships keep it more stable That make it
Sure.
rather than fluctuating based on which pro wants to jump in at the moment. If you know like this is how much money is coming in, well, you can actually just pay those guys full time to be involved. So like with the obviously the Austin Rivers situation, I spoke about this, and one of my big pet peeves, because again, I took like my basketball career, I took the long route. I didn't have the machine behind me. I didn't have good coaches. I didn't have advice. Like I just was kind of one of those that was left behind. But then late bloomer, found my way later on, and I always thought like, damn, like I'm here now, and I'm playing against guys that did go D1, guys that did play in the NBA, and that resume was always brought up though. Like, where'd you go to college? Me, I went NAIA, but I'm on the court against D1 guys, so I'm like, we're here now. Like, let's do it. I've got 30. Like, it doesn't matter what my resume was back then. So I kind of feel the same way about the one-on-one space. That's why I gravitated towards it, because it's like your resume doesn't matter. It's like check up. Do you feel like do you feel that same way? It feels like you kind of have a chip on your shoulder. I feel like when Austin Rivers approached it, he doesn't fully understand the space. He went straight to resumes. When I heard you talking to Nas, it was a lot more of like, you personally cannot beat me because of my skill set.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that whole description? I guess your resume doesn't matter in 1v1. It's about what you can do on the court. Or do you think there's a bridge that just like YouTube guys can't mess with pros?
I don't think that. I think that it just depends on what's said. So, for instance, when this whole thing started, it was because Nas called me a shark and he said he was looking for a whale. And I'm like, okay, well, based on what I've done and what I'm still doing, if the definition of a whale is what you're saying it is, then that's a whale. If not, then none of us are whales. Like, you're not a whale, I'm not a whale, Austin Rivers ain't a whale, none of these dudes are whales. Because if you're looking for something that's like a one of one or as a whale, then that would be an all-star, NBA all-star.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's where I say, okay, based off resume and what you're doing now matters to me. I don't think that you can bring up resume to me if you aren't playing anymore. Because if you're not playing anymore, then obviously you lose athleticism, you lose a certain touch that you might have, you're out of shape. Like, so you can't bring your resume into it when it comes to that standpoint about playing right now. I don't think. But
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't think that resume necessarily means anything when it comes to the space. I don't think that it means anything when it comes to picking an opponent. I think that it matters what you're doing now to me, and which was always my problem with not just. Well, only reason I bring Nas up because obviously Nas is the biggest name in the space right now, and he's the one that people really focus on when he does a call out. So when he does a call out to these guys he's calling out, they're usually older or retired, right? So because of that, it's like, okay, yeah, they have a pretty good resume, but their resume don't really mean nothing because they're not playing anymore. So you playing against a person who's a shell of themselves. You know what I'm saying?
It's like the Ty
So
Lawson thing we just talked about.
yeah, like Ty Lawson was a shell of himself. You feel me? Like, even when he's about to play Gerald Green, I don't know how the game is gonna go. I don't know how Gerald Green looks. Gerald Green's my guy. Like, we played in Phoenix together. That's my brother. I don't know how he looks, and
It's not
I
the same,
hate
not
that.
the same Gerald Green.
Yeah, you know
And
what I'm saying? But at 41,
yeah.
coming off a torn Achilles injury, I don't imagine that he's the same player. And obviously, you know, at 41 to retire, you're not really taking basketball serious no more. You know,
Right.
I only know one person right now that I can say that takes basketball pretty serious, and he's in 40, and that's Joe Johnson. But outside of Joe, I don't really know too many guys that are 40 plus that take basketball that serious. So, like, and then you call out Pat Bev. Pat Bev is 36, and he's basically converting into the media world. You know what I'm saying? Austin Rivers clearly said, like, bro, I don't even hoop no more. This shit is for fun. So, you know, I would have to get in shape and do this and that. Like, you calling out guys that aren't prepared, or nor do they really care about this shit anymore. Like basketball, I say. You know what I mean? So yeah. And my thing was, like, I was like, okay, I mean, not to cut you off, but
no, you're good.
These are the type of caliber of guys you want to play, and I'm like, why play them? Because you know they are steps slower than what they were, and you have a really good chance of beating them versus playing somebody that can really give you a challenge. And it didn't have to be me. I think the same thing about Eugene. Like, why not play Eugene? You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Like, you had every opportunity right then and there to play him, and you brought the money thing up, and I get it. Like, cool, but at the end of the day, if he didn't pay you that money, right? You made a bet with Briscoe, and Briscoe didn't pay you the money, and you still complaining about that now. So what's
Yeah.
the difference? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
As you're talking, it's interesting to me because you, at first, I would say a year ago, 2 years ago, the YouTube scene was always disrespected. And I was one of the people too. When I first saw it, I was like, I'm not getting involved with the one-on-one scene, like the street takeovers and the fighting and the whatever. These guys don't really hoop. Then when I started getting involved in seeing, like, okay, there's some guys that take it serious. They're a lot better than I thought. There's some pros
mm-hmm,
involved. Like, okay, I understand
mm-hmm,
what the scene is now. I do feel like it has almost kind of gone this what you're alluding to. It's the disrespect is almost flipped the other way to where look at all these pros, look at all these NBA players that are losing. The YouTubers are better than the NBA guys or as good as the NBA guys. So I think when you were talking about that with the Ty Lawsons, the Pat Bevs, the Isaiah Briscoe, now the space is getting to a point where we're actually going to have some good conversations where,
mm-hmm.
if playing a current overseas player versus a current YouTube 1v1 player, those are different conversations, way different conversations. So that's where it's exciting for me because now we're getting to a point where it's like we're actually going to see it happen on the court rather than just on the internet. And hopefully that's a game that you guys like. Hopefully that game does get set up, and I would love to see that happen. How sure are you of that game happening?
I mean, it really just depends on them. Like, obviously, the numbers have to make sense. I'm not gonna try to bust their head or crazy, but I know my worth, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna want my worth for sure. I know how big the game will be, so I can't just allow anything to be thrown at me. I want to play them, so that's not a big deal. But the thing about it for me is, like, realistically, I don't have to play him. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And he doesn't have to play me. But my point is, like, I don't have to play him because it's not my livelihood. Like, the YouTube scene is not my livelihood. It's just something I'm interested in. So, but I do want to play him. So because I want to play him, I'm gonna try to make this a seamless process to make it happen.
yeah,
Now obviously, like, something I was thinking about because one thing that I might want to make sure I do have before I do play him is a signed contract for where I go next year because I'm a free agent after this year. So I think that I might want to wait until after I have something signed, to where I know what I'm doing and where I'm going. But
yep,
outside of that, there wouldn't be anything that I can think of that will really hold this game unless they just trying to super lowball me. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, I'm not going for that. But also with these conversations that are being had now about me playing him, I can't see myself playing nobody else first or any other way but him now. You know what
I,
I'm saying? Like,
that was going
like
to be
if
a
they try to
question.
try to throw somebody else at me, it's over. I'm like, I'm not doing it until I play
What?
him.
So that was going to be my question because originally it wasn't even about Nas. You were talking about wanting to play like another pro, was it, or were you wanting to play another like a YouTube guy? What was your?
So originally I was like I would do either, but as I talked, like as me and Davo had conversations, and I told Davo this probably right after the event in LA because he asked me who would I want to play, and I was like, honestly, I'll play anybody. So he asked me about would I rather play Trey Duval, Malik Beasley, or Nas, and I said I don't want to play Trey because I fuck with Trey. Like, me and Trey Duval, we played together this summer in the Run Classic. Like, we was teammates. But I don't want to play Trey. I said I would play either Malik or I would play Nas. But I said if I play Nas, I think that game will be bigger just simply
Yeah,
because who Nas is to the space.
yeah,
And so
I
from
agree.
that point on, me and Davo had conversations. He was like, "Okay, bet we gonna set that game up or whatever." But that was just talk. So nothing ever happened from it. Obviously, because I'm still over here. This was just names being thrown out. The last time I had talked to Davo after that was on the live that Nas had joined after he beat School, and like then it was conversations about me playing against No Good, which No Good is supposed to play Oney
Yep,
first. So when he said he's gonna play Wendy, I was like, okay, well, who gonna be my tune up game? Because he said he's gonna be his tune up game, and
yep,
so I was like, so when Davo said, "Who you want for your tune-up game?" I was like, "We already talked about Nas. This is just me talking. You know what I'm saying about what me and Davo talked about." And so everybody was like, "No, Nas not a tune-up. Nas not a tune-up." I'm like, anybody's first game is a tune-up. Whether I win or lose, it's still a tune-up game. It's a game. A tune-up is, to me, from my definition of what I was going off of, was a moment to prepare you for what's next. Your first moment that you were experiencing something to prepare you for what's next. And so
Yeah.
I explained that to Nas Tune Alive. I said, bro, I was saying, like, no matter what, I win or lose, you still a tune up because you my first experience playing in the scene. You know what I'm saying? And so but you know how egos are. His ego got in the way, and you know how the comments is. They make you, they rage bait you into saying other shit. So
They get me every day. Don't worry.
you know what I'm saying? So like, it was just one of those things where I think people took it out of proportion. But for me, like I said, I don't really care. Like,
Yeah.
I told you how I felt about it. If you take it another way, that's on you.
Yeah, I think for me, that's kind of what I try to do with my platform anyways, because there's a couple different sides to the internet. There's like there's the content rage bait side that you talked about, but then there's like the X's and O's or strategy or like what's actually happening. That's what I try to bring a little bit more to. I see the trash talk, and I just thought it was funny. That day that y'all were on the conversation, the tune-up game with, first of all, No Good's hilarious. Every time he's on live,
No Good is funny.
it's just comedy. But there was another one with Malik and them with No Good. He started calling each other a lick. Or he's a lick, and you think you're a lick. So for me, the trash talk part is just funny. But I do think that's what makes this situation unique. Because again, this is where the resume kind of comes in. You shouldn't have to engage as much with the trash talk. The game should just be the game. But for Nas, it makes more sense if like he was talking about it being a whale. He's like, I can build this game up. I can do this. And one thing I'm starting to learn a little bit more about Nas is like, he's actually like, he understands this. He understands how all of this works. He's actually a lot more brilliant. I gave him credit for it, like with the behind the scenes, how he thinks about content. So I thought it was like a mesh of both worlds. For me, I guess I'm just excited to hopefully see this, even if this game doesn't end up happening. Hopefully it does. For me, it's just like we're getting closer to that point though, where it's like active pros playing the top YouTube guys is starting to make sense. But I'm also seeing some of the top YouTube guys are, I just call them pros now. Some of them do this, Zay training 2-3 times a day, like just does this full time, doesn't do anything else. Like he's a pro to me now. So now we're starting to get to that space where the YouTube scene, there's a few guys that we can consider kind of pros, but it's still different than going overseas and having that resume. It's still different than stepping on the NBA court.
Let me ask you a question. You remember when And One Street Ball was really, really big at its peak, and those guys were getting paid a lot of money for their platforms? Would you have considered them pros?
Yeah, but more entertainers.
Because the reason I ask you is because even though this is more serious than entertainment on the 1v1 side, it's still like, if you take, like, for instance, you take those guys who won the 100K tournament.
Yep.
And if you put them on a court with like a NBA, in the NBA setting with NBA guys, how do they look?
Yeah, completely different.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we saw LP. Look at when LP gets on the court, like he looks leagues, like he's in a different league than some of those
what
guys.
What I'm saying is that team, that OTD team, if you put that OTD team up against the Brooklyn Nets, the worst team in the NBA right now, how does that game look?
Yeah, it's not even close.
Right. So
70, 60.
I think that I think that because of that factor is what kind of throws, like, people who, not just, I don't really look at like the guys who aren't playing at a high level necessarily, but like people who play at a high level. I think that's the disconnect there, because like, okay, what do they look like on the court versus a team full of high value or high character?
I agree. Let me see if I can shortcut this for you, because I think I completely agree with what you're saying. I'm like, I mean, we've stood across from each other. We're pretty much the same height. I was a guard overseas, and so when I first looked at the one-on-one scene, I was like, if this were back in, if I had this back in my day, like there wasn't a matchup here that I could play.
Right.
right? Like it's not there yet. But my vision is we're slowly starting to see guys start like making those, like Lamar Peters is a good example. He's good enough to still be fighting for like really high paid positions overseas. But something made him be like, this is what I want to do. And I'm like, okay, we get a Lamar Peters, someone like a Joseph Lewis who was just on the outside, could still be playing overseas. We're starting to see those guys make those decisions. So I'm like, I start envisioning, will there start being Archie Goodwins that choose the one-on-one path rather than going overseas?
I don't think so.
Maybe not.
I'll explain why. So let's just say, and this is not my salary because I don't share that type of information, but let's say I was making $30,000 a month, right? How many times would I have to play on a YouTube scene per month to make $30,000 a month?
But I think again, that's how many imports are in EuroLeague, like the top EuroLeague.
Every team got, I think, five or six.
So it's like, again, it's like 50, 60 players.
50, 60 players. No, it's 5 times. No, it's more because it's 24 teams.
All right, so well, let's say 100. There's around 100 players, but I'm like, if you're on that fringe, if you're like trying to get to that level for the 30,000 a month, what if your next choice is to go somewhere and make 3,000 a month, 5,000 a month?
Well, if you got a chance to make 30,000, I don't think your next chance can be 3,000. Like, so I get what you're trying to say, but like, I'm just trying to keep it relative to like reality. Like, if you making 3,000, then you're not gonna just jump from you've been over there. You're not gonna jump from 3 to 30. You might go from 3 to like 7, then from 7 to 12, then you work your way from there. But
I think I see what the disconnect is. I think our path, like my pathway, was just complete opposite. Like I had no lights or shine on me at all, and it was like I had to take every opportunity, like on the way up. Right. And I start thinking like how many players I feel like, I could be wrong. I feel like there's more players like me than there are like you. Right. McDonald, like you were top 10 in high school.
Top 10, yeah.
Like, I mean, that's so rare. So your experience and your perspective is
it's
like
gonna be a little different.
You're
so
like
you saying more
for you it's NBA. Yeah, you're like NBA or bust. If I don't make NBA, I've failed.
Yeah.
Whereas I think there's so many, like a Nas, and again, no disrespect to Nas, but he's 6'2". And if he just said NBA or bust, well, like, oh, was he like? He just give up on everything. So for him, it's like there are still things you can achieve, but it's probably not 30,000 in top EuroLeague.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's more players like that in the world than there are players like you. And you are looking at it as wait, you guys aren't on my level. Like, hold on, like relax. But those guys are like, yeah, but at this thing, I can be the best at this thing.
No, you're right, and from what you're saying, I agree. I think that if it's a case like that, then yes, I think that's why I say it just depends on what level you are at. So, it makes sense for like Nas, and it makes sense for Zay, who goes to the G League and then he'll come back. It makes sense for those guys for sure. But like, for instance, I had a conversation with Mike James the other day. I was like, yo, because I was like, bro, let's pop out this summer just to see what he was saying. He was like, I'm cool. Like, I don't need it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even talking to Eugene, me and Eugene, me and Eugene have become really, really cool over time. And he even is on the fence of like, man, if I play Nas, I play him. If I don't, I don't. I don't really care. Like, I'm not tripping. Like if the game happened, if it makes sense, I'll do it. But if it don't make sense, I'm not gonna force it. Like, cause I don't really care. Like that's how he feels. And Eugene's making a really good amount of money in China. So me, I'm making a really good amount of money here. So and then also you got the other part of it is this. I have, like, we play this game, right? It's not likely, but it is a possibility that I could get hurt, right? So if I get hurt, then how what did I could mess up what I have going overseas. You know what I'm saying? And I think that other people think of it like that too, because that is like, while like I said, it's unlikely, but it is a possibility. Like, you can get hurt anytime you step on the court. You can get hurt. So let's say for instance I get paid 20,000 for the game, right? I pay 20,000 for one game, and people might be like, okay, well, you still making some bread. I'm like, yeah, that's 20,000, but that 20,000 for this one game will not make up for 700,000, $800,000, $1 million I was gonna make that next year and overseas wherever I was playing at. So like, is it worth the risk to reward? Just to say, I told y'all I could beat this dude, like he can't fuck with me. Is that worth the risk of potentially missing out on this if this happens? So it's a lot of little things that you got to think about when
Do
you
you
are at a certain level, playing basketball over the water or wherever you play. I know even in the NBA, like, only way Najee Marshall is even gonna be able to play now is if he got the "for the love of the game" clause in his contract. And I don't know if you know what that is, but so basically, when you sign an NBA contract, you're not you're not permitted to play anywhere outside of the NBA's facilities or something that's sanctioned by the NBA unless you have the "for the love of the game" clause in your contract. If you get hurt playing like pickup and it's not sanctioned by the NBA, or you get hurt playing doing anything, they have the right to void your contract. So that could stop that game if he doesn't have that in his contract. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of
Yep.
times, a lot of people do get it in their contract, but you got to have the knowledge to know to get it. Because a lot of teams don't really want you to get it in there because they don't want you doing stuff outside of what they have sanctioned for them. So that's another thing. Like, so that could hold a lot of NBA players back too, to be honest, like from jumping into this space.
Yeah, I agree. The more we're having this conversation, I'm starting to understand, just like, because again, where I was before I got involved with the one-on-one scene was like, I didn't know anything about it. I had never seen anything. And the first I had heard about it, it was like Scoob and Rob, I think it was. And my initial reaction was, they're not that good. I could beat this guy, that it just as my competitiveness.
Yeah, the
and
competitive nature in you always thinks like that. It's just,
and
there's
then
no.
the IQ part, I'm like, well, you just defend the screen this way and blah, blah, whatever. Like, all these scenarios go through your head. And then, like, the more I got involved with it, the more I think I started understanding. Like I said, it's the chip on your shoulder mentality. It's like the guys that didn't have the pathway or didn't have the opportunities. And I think once I started looking at it from that aspect is where I really gained the respect and appreciation I have for it. Because I think I'm like, what if I wasn't 6'5"? Would I've been overseas? I would like to think I would, but I'm like, I probably got that opportunity because I was like naturally athletic, 6'5", but then I was a guard overseas. So
Being
I
6'5"
look,
as a guard is definitely a luxury.
so when I was in high school, I'm old, I'm 38. When I was in high school, obviously I was just put in the post and just like stand there. So I think like, damn, I think about that opportunity I missed. If I was put at the point guard, I was my freshman year, but it's like if I would have played all the way through point guard at 6'5" in high school, probably would have had way better opportunities. So
for sure,
completely different. So I think I look at the YouTube guys at the moment and where the space is now as like Akeem, for example. He played Division II, but he's playing against a Joseph Lewis who played overseas for 8 years, played in the G League, stuff like that. So I go, okay, I like this because now we're getting a mesh up and opportunities for all these guys that just didn't happen to make it or didn't have those opportunities. So I think looking at it from that aspect is where I see where they're coming from. But then this is why I wanted to have the conversation with you, because I also resonate naturally more with the way when you were talking to Nas. I was like, I see where you're coming from, because I do sometimes feel a type of way too. Like, man, everything I've done in basketball, and now I just commentate 1v1 now. Like, that's who I am. Just a 1v1 commentator, So yeah, that's the way I think about it. Do you think it's ever going to get to a point where the pros, I guess, look at it as even or close, or do you think there'll always
as
be
far as like like player to player?
Yeah.
No, not NBA players. If you saying like overseas guys, like I say, it just depends on who. Because I'll give you an example. Like Joseph Lewis. You can say based off of like he was. I don't know necessarily how high of a level he played overseas, but I know he played overseas. But you could say like, okay, he's close to these guys. Some guys might be better than him, but he's close. You know what I mean? Like respectively to everybody in the scene, he's close. Like he'd give anybody a good game. But you take a Mike James, or you take a Kevin Punter, or you take a Eric McCollum, and you
But
put
those
them
are
in
really,
space.
to me, those are NBA guys.
Right, but
They just
that's
happen to
not
be
NBA.
playing in
Right,
EuroLeague. You know,
that's my thing. So you take one of them, even a Marshawn Brooks. You know what I'm saying? You take a guy like that and you put him in his space. Do they match up with these guys? Can they, you know what I'm saying? Or will you see a difference? And I believe you will see a difference. You know what I'm
but
saying?
I guess
So
my point was, I see a difference with Mike James against anybody.
right. You see a difference between Mike James with anybody for sure, and for sure in the space, but because Mike James is that talented. Like me and Mike James played together in the summer league. My second or third year in the NBA, he was on when I was with the Suns. He came and played with us in summer league, and he went from being like the second or third off the bench to like starting. So our starting lineup in the summer league was him at the one, me and D Book on the wing, TJ Warren at the four, and Alex Lynn at the five.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so for him to, and he ended up um being like our second or third lead scorer behind me. You know what I'm saying? For that whole summer league, like he hooped his ass off, and he went from there and went overseas. And then when he came back, he was in Phoenix. And to be honest, the only reason he didn't stick in the NBA is because for real, Mike is he's kind of crazy. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he a little crazy. So I think that's the real reason. And he wasn't going to accept less because he's like, I know how good I am. So why would I do this when I can just go be the man in Europe? Which, he's making the same amount of money because it wasn't like he was on a really big deal in the NBA. So it just made sense. Kevin Punter, the same thing. He could have went to the NBA, but it didn't make sense. You're making so much money and you the man. Why would you leave that to go just for the NBA name? Like realistically, I've been overseas since 2017. No, 2018, 19 year. That was my first year going overseas. If I wanted to bad enough around that time, I could have worked my way back into the league. But it's just like, do I want to go through the G League process again? No, I don't. I do not like the G League. Not because the players aren't good and the game is not good. It's just the money is shit, and it's just I don't want to be there. Or would I want to go to Europe or overseas and go be the guy, showcase what I actually can do, and then make money and provide for myself and my family. That sounds like a better option than just trying to do the Mac McClung thing. Like Mac McClung is very good, and he kills the G League every year. But
Never get a spot.
he never get a spot, and it's just like, how many times do you want to do that before you take the jump and go do something else to really make a name for yourself? Because I guarantee you, if these guys would have just stayed in the G League and tried to work their way up, a lot of these dudes in Europe you would have never heard of. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I agree.
So,
But and we don't have to. We can end soon. But this has actually
oh,
brought
you
up
good?
so
We
many
good?
more.
We good? I don't
Okay,
have nothing to do. I ain't got nothing but time.
this brought up so many more like thought processes for me now, because as you're talking, and it's helping me like understand things a little better too, just from my own understanding, my own perspective. I had a lot of those opportunities too, where once I got overseas, my goal, because again, I was a late bloomer. So once I got overseas, it was like, okay, foot in the door, then next opportunity. Like that was my goal. But I had my son my second year,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like instantly, like everything I wanted to do was like eventually make it to the NBA. That was my goal. And as soon as I had my son, I instantly started thinking about like, well, risk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to play somewhere where there's a high risk of if I get injured, I get sent home. Or if I have a bad game, I get sent home. So when I had opportunities in front of me, it became like that's when I started coaching, because I took an opportunity where I was like, well, I'll play, but I need year-round pay. I don't want to go back and forth because I was going to have a son in Australia. I don't want to go back to America, come back here. Like, I don't want to do that. So a club offered me, and it was a lower level, but they're like, well, you can play for us, but then you can be the club director. So you'll have year-round salary. And so I was like, well, that's pretty safe, because if I get injured, like I still have that job.
You get that, yeah.
So it was, for me, that's what I did, along with playing for 9 years. It's like 9 years. But then again, like I said, the amount of Division One players, or the summertime, we'd be playing with all the pros. Like we used to have runs with Andrew Bogut. He would always bring like it would be Andrew Bogut, Joe Ingles, so the Aussie NBA guys, but then the like imports or whatever. And I'm like, I'm on the same level as a lot of these guys.
Right.
But for me, my choice was that stability and that money. So I think when you're talking about Mike James, I'm like, it was the same for him. To me, he's an NBA guy. I don't say he's like, oh, he's a EuroLeague guy, but he is all-time leading EuroLeague scorer. Yeah. So for me, I'm like, he's an NBA guy. He's just not in the NBA.
For sure.
So it's this. I feel the same though with some YouTube guys. Not yet. But like I said, LP is that first one for me to be like, damn. Like LP is like, when I first saw him, I'm like, the way he moves, the way he can shoot, the way I'm like, man, this guy, he's elite. Like I've been on the court with a lot of guards, and when I watch him, I'm like, I don't know how I guard that. So I'm like, we're starting to get to that point where there are players that are starting to choose this over that EuroLeague opportunity. And so I guess now
EuroLeague just
but fighting for EuroLeague. Like I said, the fringe guys.
Are you saying just because?
So if Mike James got an
opportunity of a fringe guy for EuroLeague, because my thing is
Mike James for NBA. Mike James is a fringe NBA guy because he's not in there.
No. I'm saying what's a fringe EuroLeague guy? Because
the same thing.
My thing about Europe is this: even when it comes to dudes who are fringe EuroLeague guys, they're high level Euro Cup, and Euro Cup guys are making 500,000, anywhere from 200 to 500,000 a year. So I don't know if that might be the right definition for fringe EuroLeague.
No, so when I say fringe, I mean there's a world where you can work your ass off and get to that opportunity.
Yeah.
But within that time, so it's the G League thing, right? Like there's G League guys that are fringe NBA guys, but I'm like, he's not going to get in. But look how hard he's going to have to work to maybe get a 10. Sunday at a Gaines was a good example. Like how he was dominating, he was leading the league in G League, and then gets like a 10-day contract. Comes into
who else is like that? Bryce Cotton.
And he's in the NBL now.
Yeah, going, and he's the best thing in the NBA. He's so good.
But then it was like he's never going to get that opportunity. But to me, Bryce Cotton's an NBA guy.
NBA like talent for sure. He's just so small. He's so small. Like I think Eugene is an NBA talent. To be honest, I'm high on Eugene. I kind of know a little bit of his background about where he's from and just the type of what he went through to get to where he's at now. Like people don't even really realize after he played his college, he was at home for a little bit. He was at home. Then he went to Turkey and dominated. Like he went to Turkey and dominated, and then went from China, and he just never looked back. But he didn't know what was next for him after college, because I remember him even doing like a park run in Gary, Indiana. Like he was outside on the concrete hooping about to fight in Gary. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he went from that, and it's crazy when I seen him on that video. I'm like, I don't know who this cat is, but he can fucking go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you could just see it. He could go. And then now he's one of the better guards over there. He's on a championship contending team, making millions of dollars. Like it can switch for you just like that. But it's like you said, are you willing to take that risk and do that? Yeah. I think that what will happen is some of these guys might take the risk initially to see if there's something there for them. And then if they don't think that it's something there that can transpire, then I think they'll just stick with the scene, or they'll go back and forth depending, like how C4 do. C4 come back and forth. You know what I'm saying? BJ might come back and forth sometimes. I think you will see that more because I think like, at the end of the day, and I said this the other day, maybe I won't say Nas, maybe outside of Nas, and maybe Scoob, because Scoob is a little older now. Majority of these dudes, if they got an opportunity to go overseas, they're gone. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's enough money that they can survive on, that makes sense, they're gone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because we all want to play basketball. We all want to, like, 5-on-5 basketball at a high level is the ultimate goal, no matter what. It's always been that. Especially if you, like, NBA is obviously number one, but, like, being able to do that 5v5 at a high level and make money and provide and do these things, like, that's the ultimate goal. So
Do you
even
think that is for everybody?
I think it is for everybody, and then they pivot once they realize like, hey, maybe this isn't. You know what I'm saying? Because it was even one time where LP was telling me he was about to go back to the G League. You know what I'm saying? And then the next time I saw him, he was like, "Man, I'm cool because I'm making money doing this. I don't need that." You know, so I'm just so I think it just depends. But I think the ultimate goal for anybody, especially if your age is not at a point where you're like, okay, maybe I need to just settle in with this, then I think that they will take that opportunity if it comes and it makes sense. Like, I don't think like as talented as a guy like BJ is or C4, like they're both two talented guys to me. I don't see them just staying on the 1v1 scene because they're really good and they can play team basketball and they can be really good at 5-on-5. So it's like I don't see them doing that full time. I just don't see it. I think the guys that would do it full time, like even Chris Likes was playing on Baller's Life, right?
Yep.
I don't think Chris Likes would do that full time. I think that as soon as the team calls him, because I know he was coming off of an injury, he's gone. You know what I mean? It's just 5v5 is usually the ultimate goal. You know what I
I
mean?
would say usually, but again, like I said, my situation, it was like the only thing I thought about was like being the best, take every opportunity I can. And then as soon as I had my son, it like everything pivoted.
So let
And
me
it
ask you
was like,
this: if you was, let's say, you was making 10,000 a month, um, in in like overseas, right? If you was making 10,000 a month overseas, and then a country, or then like this was relevant when you were around, and they was like, well, we can give you 8,000 a month. Would you take that over the 10?
no, but what if it was 12,000 that they could offer?
The 12,000 here or in overseas, or the 12,000?
12,000 here.
Would you take? You would take it over the 10?
I'd consider it. I think I would.
I don't think I would, and the only reason is because the earning potential is way vastly different based off of, um,
Maybe.
and this is why. This is why.
Okay.
This is like boxing. 1-on-1 is like boxing. It's high risk, high reward. If you lose, no matter what, you lose, unless your name is Scuba Moon, if you lose, your reputation and your value takes a hit when you lose. Now you can build it back up by winning against credible names, but also it's like, okay, if you lose to one credible name, how soon can you get another credible name again? Like how soon will LP be able to play against a Zay caliber guy again? Like I don't know how soon that'll be, because it's like people are all saying he got to work his way back, and it's not to say that he can,
So
but how long will that take? But also with that, will his payday take a hit? Will he even do the next pay per view when the next pay per view happens? Like it's a lot of little things like that to where it's like, okay, I could go overseas and make this 10, and then one, it's not just based off one game. I have a 10-month season. I can play well in this 10-month season. Then my 10 jumps to 15 next year. Whether we play good or bad, as long as my numbers are good and I'm a productive player, attitude is good, my value increases. But in the 1v1 space, if you lose, it can hurt you.
I agree with everything you're saying. I just think there's so much unexplored potential in the one-on-one space still, and it's still so young. So maybe I'm uh, overstating how much money there is, but I look at it as in whenever I was playing and it was full time. If I'm training twice a day, doing weights as well, like when I was playing full time, like basketball was my only thing. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
really have time for video games much. I didn't have time for like shows. I just didn't have time for like much other stuff. And like my life was just basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these YouTube guys, they can make content. They can do other things. So if you're in the one-on-one space, and let's say you're making 12K a month, what
Mm-hmm.
10K? Let's say it's even 10K to go overseas and play for 4 months,
Mm-hmm.
or 10K here year round.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the side of that, you can also have your YouTube channel. You can also have, I guess you could do that either way. You could do that on both, but I feel like it's so much easier to do it in the one-on-one space. So I think when I look at those opportunities, I think me personally, I do feel like most people want to be the best 5-on-5 player, and I
Mm-hmm.
do think it's more prestigious.
Mm-hmm.
I think most people in the world have more prestige for someone who's a better 5-on-5 player than a better 1-on-1 player.
Yeah.
But I do think now at least it's a conversation, and at least now it would be. When I was playing, it just wasn't a thought. Am I going to stay and try and do and one or make YouTube content, or am I going to go overseas? It wouldn't, like, what are we talking
Yeah.
about? Not even close.
Sure.
But I think now there's a conversation to be had. If you're Chris Likes, and how tall is Chris Likes? 5'8"?
5'8", maybe. Yeah.
If you're Chris Likes and a team calls you up and is like, hey, we got an opportunity, not a lot of money, but we just had our point guard get injured and we want you to come out. And then Ball is Life is like, but we got 2 events, next month. I think it's different. I at least think it's worth the conversations now. Do you disagree with that?
I think it just depends on the person. I think it can change with anybody. It depends on the person, because if guys are like, if it's a low level thing, then it's like, okay, do I really want to go here? Because sometimes the countries are shit. You might go to a bad situation. So it's like, do I really want to go here? Or do I want to stay home, be where I know I'm comfortable at? Like, so I think it depends. So
Yeah.
I don't think that I'm right all the way. I think that it can go either way. It just depends. The situation is different for the person, because even he posted on his story one day, I guess somebody that worked with Rob was wanting to help get a agent contact for him to try to get him into China, in the NBL. It's like the second division of China. So it's like, as much prestige as Rob has in his space, he still wants to play 5-on-5. So
Yeah.
like, I think it just depends on the person, because I don't think you could get Nas to go play overseas right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wouldn't. I don't see a place where he would make more money overseas than he would make where he's playing, right, or doing his YouTube content and his 1v1s. I don't think he makes. It's a place that could pay him that much to what he's making right now. So I think it just depends on the person, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't trying to get you like do a gotcha or anything, because as you can see, I'm thinking through this like as well, and that's why I thought this would be a good conversation, because it's gonna most of the conversation around the 1-on-1 space is just like toxic stuff, whatever.
Yeah,
So for me,
for sure.
I knew this would be good to like think out some
But
ideas.
a lot of them, a lot of these people who are in this 1v1 community, like the fans, they're kids, like they young.
Yeah.
So like, a
Well,
lot of times people might see
some
me
of them are.
respond to some of the stuff. I respond, like, when I like on our backcourt connection stuff, or if I'm on 1v1 highlights and I'm posted on it, like they post me on their page or anything like that, or even on YouTube. I mean, on Instagram. And if I see people say stuff, I'll respond sometimes, but I don't respond because they made me mad. I respond because they're so wrong that I have to try to help correct them. You know what I'm saying? And they take that as, oh, he mad. Look, I'm like, no, you're just wrong, and I'm trying to show you that you're wrong so you can not be ignorant to what you're saying. You know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
mean, I respond to every comment as well. I was
Yeah,
not
like,
not
but they take
afraid
that
of the
as
engagement.
you mad because you responded. Like, no, just so I'm mad because I'm responding. But so that means you were mad or jealous or whatever because you said something in the first place. But then, like, so like, or are you too big? You shouldn't even be responding to me. Why shouldn't I respond? You can say whatever you want about me, but I can't respond. That don't make sense. I don't get that logic.
They
Like,
don't
when
know how
people get
much.
mad at KD for responding on Twitter, it's like, you can say everything under the sun about this man, but he can't respond because he's KD. He ain't supposed to respond. That sounds stupid to me. That just sounds stupid to me.
Yeah, I respond to every comment, and one of my goals is to like, I want there to be less stupid people out there. So I try to inform people where I can, try to have but that's why, like I said, that's why I wanted to have this conversation, because I think it does. There's a lot of people out there that do listen to what the talking heads on the internet are saying, and they're just going to use our arguments now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we've said is going to pop up somewhere else. So
Sure.
I would much rather be someone who we have a voice and we can talk. And now those are the conversations that people are starting to have. And obviously I want to get your take on just like the 1-on-1 scene as a whole. But for me, this was really interesting to see how you view the space and 5-on-5, and like try and iron through my thoughts as well with just like overseas 5-on-5, 1v1. And I do think hopefully it gives other people like a little bit of perspective too, because we've seen
Mhm.
all the different angles of it.
Yeah, for sure. It's man, I have a huge respect for the community, the 1v1 community, because like you said, a lot of these guys come from underdog stories. You know, not maybe going to the highest college, going having the best opportunities to play basketball. I do think that a little bit of that is tied into limitations too. If I'm just gonna be quite honest, like some of it is limitations, and then some of it is, that mixed with just not the best opportunities. But for them to still be able to make a name for themselves in the basketball world and still have an impact on basketball, it still is impressive. Like
Can we? Can I ask
it's
you?
still impressive.
Can I ask you on that point of limitations? Did you feel that in your career ever, that you were on the court with someone and you were like, okay, there is a ceiling I won't be able to reach?
Only time I feel like that is if I'm playing against a guy who's just freakishly taller than me, or like some dudes are just like a Giannis, like it's nothing you can really, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
but for me, it was always hard for me to accept what happened to me or what I had to go through in the NBA because it just was like bad luck, So like that part sucked me for me. I would have way much rather it been a situation where, hey, I got the opportunity and I just didn't do shit with it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But that wasn't my case. I just got dealt a bad hand. And so when you get dealt a bad hand at that level, like a lot of people, so this is the thing too, and I don't mean to kind of be long winded, but people will say like I see some people in the comments, they'll say like a lot of these dudes could be NBA guys or they got bad opportunities. To be honest with you, the opportunity thing don't really kick in from what I've seen and what I've been through. That don't really kick in until either college or the professional level. That's where you deal with some adversity for real. If you're good. If you're good. So some of these dudes might have been late bloomers. They might not have been good in college or in high school, and then they got outside of that, and then they became good. But if you're good in high school, you're good in college. You're gonna because before in our time at least, you wasn't getting paid. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So now you can be put in a place where you're out of position, which that happens sometimes where you play out of position, so you don't look as good. But for the most part, if you're playing in your natural position or where you're good at, and you can be successful, and you really talented, and you make stuff happen, you don't hit that politic point until you get to the NBA, because the NBA is not always about who's the best. Sometimes it's a popularity thing because who gonna put asses in seats? Then it's gonna be about who's making the most money as well. Like those owners, like I'll give you an example. My I don't know if it was my first or second year. I can't remember, but it might have been my second year. We had a stretch of games where coach came to me. Jeff Hornacek was our head coach. He came to me. He said, "Hey, Arch, I know you've been working hard, and you do deserve an opportunity. So I'm gonna give it to you. Cool. So be ready to play. Bet." We won. We had like a 3-game stretch at home. We won those 3 games. I averaged like 14 over the 3 games. Had the highest plus and minus on the team. Then the next game after that 3-game stretch, I didn't even play. So I went to the office. I said, "Coach, I'm just curious. Like, did I do something wrong? Like, what I do?" And he was just like, "No, you didn't honestly do anything wrong. You played your ass off. The owners just are telling us we got to play the veteran guys. Like, we got to play these guys who are making this much money. So because of that, I had to sit you." So stuff like that happens
Do you
when
think that
money
doesn't?
involved.
You think that doesn't happen until that level though?
I don't think that necessarily happens at the college level. It might happen now because money's involved, but I don't think that
I
that
I've
that
seen it. I see
happens.
it happen at every level.
I mean, I haven't seen that happen in high school or in college just because. And I say that because for instance, when I was in high school or when I was in middle school, for instance, right? When I was in middle school going into high school, I was not. I was a late bloomer in that sense. Like some dudes are really good when they're young and then they kind of fizzle out. I was okay, but then as I grew into my body, I became good. And once I became good, I saw the benefit of how hard I worked and all of that stuff come into play because I was able to be better than everybody else. So if you're flat out better than everybody else and you're not a head case, you just a normal kid, but you're better than everybody else. 9 times out of 10, that stuff doesn't happen to you. Like I just haven't seen that where dudes are just like for a fact like this dude is one of our like let's say it's a team of 12. This dude is one of our top 3 best players on the team. Like he's really good for us. We can't win without him. And then they just or he can impact the game on winning, and they just don't play him because of this and that. I haven't seen that. I don't. It could happen. I just haven't
I've
seen
seen
it.
it, and look, maybe because I've just dealt with basketball on a large scale for a long time. Again, I was in charge of 300 players, so we had our senior
Mhm.
teams, our 2 senior teams, but then under that it was juniors, it was under 21s, all the way down to 8-year-olds, and I dealt with that all the time of player coaches that their son was on the team and the best player they didn't like because their son was not going to start. So they benched the best player. This best player ends up quitting basketball. Like obviously that happens at the low end, but then
Mhm.
it happened to me in college. I went to JUCO. I had so where Keem went to college, I actually had a
Mhm.
full ride scholarship there, Division II, but because I didn't have guidance or anything, I was like, I don't want to go Division II. I'll go JUCO so I can try to go D1.
Mhm.
Obviously, I should have just taken that offer. I walked onto a JUCO and we had to compete for lockers because we had 15 players and we had 12 lockers. So we had to
Right.
compete for lockers. So we did one-on-one. I won the one-on-ones. And then so I
Mhm.
got a locker. And then the coach came in and was like, hey, Jerome's going to be starting and he's a freshman and he doesn't have a locker. So, and I was like, oh, I guess I'll give up my locker. So even though like I was doing everything I was supposed to do, but because I was a walk-on, it
That's
was
what I'm
like,
about to say though. You have to give up your locker to a scholarship player.
yeah. So for
See, but
me,
that's okay. So in that situation, yes, because that is a political game too. So I get that. Yeah, that can happen. And that's why I said maybe college and then to the NBA.
and I'm
But
and but I
so
do
I
agree
get
with
that.
your point though. I just see both ends of like the best player most times they're going to find you. If you're supposed to make the NBA, like you're going to make the NBA.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I have seen the other end of it where I'm like, man, there's a lot of people, I've played with a lot of guys. So I'm like, how did this guy not go Division 1? Or how is this
Hmm.
guy like how did he fall through the cracks? How is he not somewhere overseas? So I do see it all the time on both ends where players get left behind. And again, I guess that's where my charitability comes in to the YouTube space, to the more fringe players. And I think I don't know if you feel this way, but you're actually the rare case. Like
Oh,
most
what?
NBA players, the NBA players that were ever top 10 players, like you guys have like a different mentality
Hmm.
and you don't understand failure. Like you don't even know what failure feels like.
Hmm.
Because like you're like to be at the level you're at, you have to have that unrelenting like no one's gonna hold me back. I'm gonna make it, whatever. But then you also have like the physical gifts, but you also
Hmm.
had the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So for you, it's like just do the thing. It's like when Michael Jordan was trying to coach. It's like just do the thing. Why can't you do the thing? But he's dealing with people that weren't him, and it's like
Hmm.
most people don't have. You're the rare occasion.
Hmm.
Most
No, for
people aren't
sure.
like you. So that's when I see the one-on-one space, I'm like, I think there's far more people that can fit that, and we'll end up start looking at that as like a viable option than people that think like you of I want to be the top of the top, the elite of the elite, and I want to do this. I'm like, and you've probably had teammates like this in your career where it's like they don't even care. They just happen to be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, for sure. I get what you're saying. I think what you're saying is valid, and um, those type of people make the space good though because they have a chip on their shoulder to prove something. Um, so I think that it makes sense for guys like that to come into the space because I always see guys like even like if you look at like Dom, how I won't even say aggressive, but like how emotional he is towards the game of basketball when he plays. Like that's emotion from frustration of maybe being looked at as an underdog his whole life when it
Yeah.
comes to basketball. When Scoop first got on the scene, he had that same aggression. He's kind of mellowed out now because I think he's found a space for himself. He's still a dog, so that ain't the problem. But like he's way more mellowed out than he used to be. And I think that comes from him being able. He's a prominent name within the space, so he has something that he worked towards and he built, and that he accomplished. You know, like Moon when he first came out, Moon was a hothead, and then
Yeah.
he's became like a
Figured
lot
it
of
out.
these dudes. You can tell by the way that they play that they come from an underdog story, and they have the need to feel like they got to prove themselves. You
Yeah.
know, because this is their stage and I respect that. That's why I respect the scene. Like I respect it because I know I can see what these guys doing, and I can tell like okay, this you can tell like they playing with a chip on their shoulder. They got something to prove, and I respect that. I respect the scene through and through. I know these dudes go through a lot or went through a lot to get to where they at, and that's the one thing that kind of gives me a thrill about potentially playing because the asshole in me would like to fuck a little bit of it up, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
I like this.
that's just
I
the
like
truth. Like,
this.
you know, now if he beat me, he beat me. I don't see it happening. You know, I just don't. But I'm humble enough and real enough to know that anybody can have their day. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, I understand that anybody can have their day. So if he does beat me, then that just blows the space up even more. But the, what I think is going to happen, if that happens, then what happens to the space is the question. Because now it's gonna look like all of this was not the space being a facade, but all of this talk around him being this, and he can beat these pros and he can do this and that. What happens
So
to
you think
those
he got more? You think he got more pressure then in a game like this?
for sure? Because the whole space is on his back. The whole space is on his back. So whether it will be me or Eugene, like, because we both, you know, play at high levels. So whether it be me, whether it be Eugene, if he play either one of us, if he loses that game, it could do some damage, especially depending on how he loses. Because
Yeah.
honestly, if he would have lost to school at the rate that they were going, if he would have lost bad, like that would have fucked up some shit. Like he would have ruined
Yeah.
his chances. To me, honestly, at being able to get like a high level pro, if he would have lost that game. So it's like Nas would have to. He would have to beat. He would have to beat me or Eugene. You know what I mean?
And
Like
then for you, win or lose, you just go back overseas.
yeah, I'm going back overseas. Like it's my day don't change. So
Yep.
I don't want to lose though. So like let's not. I'm you know what I mean. I'm not going. If I'm playing, I'm playing. I'm going to kill. Like it's not going to be a thing where like how Briscoe approached it. I'm not going to approach it like that because Briscoe was. You could tell he was like, man, I ain't tripping. Like I'm. He left to go overseas like a week later. So you can tell he wasn't tripping. Me, I'm not approaching it like that. So you know, I'm gonna come in there really trying. Like my goal, and I talked to Bruce. I don't know if you seen me and Bruce on live the other day. We had talked,
Yeah.
and I told Bruce, I said, bro, I don't want to play you or Bino or nobody, not because y'all aren't good opponents, but because whether I win or lose against y'all, that's not gonna really shake nothing up. But if I play Nas and I beat him, it's gonna shake shit up. Especially if I beat him like bad. You know what I'm saying? So like if I beat him bad, then what does that look like for the space?
Yeah. I agree. Do you have time for a couple questions?
Yeah, for sure, bro. I'm off today. My off day, so I got time.
All right. All right. We'll get people to ask some questions. So if you guys got questions for Archie, send them through. Alvaro asks, what are your thoughts on the bonus rules and the physicality in the ones?
The bonus rules, I like the bonus rules. I think that that helps to even out some of the ugliness of what you see in these games going an hour and a half, 2 hours. Like I think that kind of takes some of that away. The physicality, I don't mind the physicality because like where I play at is physical like that. Like the two hand chucks. Like I'm at some point I'm gonna have one of our video guys clip down some of these clips so y'all can see like I get fucked up over here. Like in Asia is a physical country. So
I've heard.
so it's a physical country. So a lot of this stuff that they're getting hit with, I get hit with all the time. You know what I mean? So like I
Yeah.
understand the physicality, but where I don't like the physicality, or I think it takes I draw a line that is when the guy's in the air, you push him, or if
Yeah.
he's right, he outright beats you and you grab him by his neck or shoulders. Like I don't like those type of fouls, but the hand checking, the chesting, like I don't really mind that. That's just like when I hoop back home in the summer, that's common. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like I like that part. I like the physical, and it's like 90s style. I don't mind that. I just don't want it to be putting guys in danger of getting
There's a
hurt.
difference between like physicality and dirty. Like
Yes,
dirty
like
play.
the
Yeah.
dirty is that's the problem, but the physicality, I never minded that much. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I like about the one-on-one scene is like that FIBA. I always try to explain it to people. It's like it's not that it's more physical than America. It's different, and it's
Hmm.
like we always talk about chest, hips, hand checking,
Hmm.
even like your cylinder. Like if you're just shooting it and
Hmm.
like you didn't create space, they don't care if they're in your space.
No,
Whereas
bro,
in
I had a couple players today on our game earlier today where I would shoot the ball and the defender would like have my hand like this, so like I can't even do this because he has my hand, and the ref won't call it. They like,
yeah,
no, you know what I'm
for
saying?
me it was the
Yeah, they don't
elbows.
call it either. Like
They
if
don't call that
they do this, they don't call it. Like they
because
barely touch you. They touch you a
because
little
they'll
bit.
put their hands up and they won't
Hmm.
be straight up, but they'll be like forward a little bit. But they'll,
Hmm.
as you're shooting, it'll be on your elbow, and it's like
Yeah, they
you're
don't
supposed to
call
get
it.
that shot
Like
off.
man, I get fouled on jumpers so much out here. They'll call some of them, but they be like they'll dead ass be like I can't call all of them.
Yeah,
They'll tell me, like I can't call all of them, and they can be fouls. Like I've posted some stuff like that on my Instagram before, where like I'm showing they're in my landing space. I'm landing on their
I
feet or
think I
something.
commented on that one.
You know what I'm saying? And they don't call those. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, so.
We got another question from Moaz. I didn't even see this. $20 or 20 somethings. So what about Rob? Where do you think he can be playing at? What's his highest ceiling?
It's hard for me to say because I haven't really seen too much Rob 5-on-5 because at his height he would have to be a point guard.
Yeah,
So I don't know how he is as a playmaker. I know what he is as a scorer, but as a playmaking player, I don't really know how high his ceiling is. Now I think that he could play in the NBL in China, so like the second division in China. I don't know if he could play CBA necessarily. CBA is a different level. I'm not saying he can't. I just don't know. But I think that
yeah,
based off what I've seen from him, I think he could play NBL for sure.
yeah.
In
And
the
and something people often think about the offense, but if you ask any like high level coaches, most things they'll say like straight away is like if you can't guard,
yeah,
like we can't use it. It almost doesn't matter what you do on
for
offense
sure,
if you can't
for
guard.
sure,
So for
for
Rob,
sure.
he's gonna have to be guarding a lot of post players and
Yeah,
those post
even in
actions.
a even in the league, like, and you know what's crazy? A lot of people will see like I'll see people say stuff about like me or Eugene or people that play in China, and they'll say, "Oh, they only averaging these numbers because they're playing against these type of players and this and that." Look, that shit is not easy like y'all think. I have to play against five guys. Like the teams, like it's not like okay, like Eugene too. So you playing against five guys that the whole defense, their focus is stopping you. Their
Yeah,
whole game plan is stopping you. And for you to still be able to score over that is not easy. It's not easy. People make it look easy because of how hard we work at it. And once you get to a certain level of confidence and you rep so many times, like any shot I get off, I feel like it's a good shot. But that shit is not easy. When you look at the shots that these dudes make, some of the shots I make, you can't look at that and be like, "Oh, he only doing that because he over there." Like, no.
I think that was one of the things I heard the most. And one thing I tried to get people to understand too, like you wouldn't come over here and compete against, you're not competing against a spot for this guy. we can only have 2 imports.
Right.
You're actually competing against the other, 10, 12 imports in the league. You have to be better than them. So again, as an American, like a lot of people from America can't understand. It's like, yeah, you're looking that they're playing in this Asian league, but it's like you're actually not really competing against them. You're competing against the other imports as well. So ask him if Nas loses against Gerald Green, does that take away from you wanting to play Nas?
Honestly, it does, because I wanted to be the person that knocked him off his high horse if I was going to play. You know what I'm saying? So, like, him losing to G Green would make me, I'm not going to say I wouldn't play the game, but I wouldn't be as eager to play it as I am now. Because right now, with him being a hot commodity like he is, it'll make it more sweet. It's like going into a away arena and hushing and silencing the crowd.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's kind of the approach I have with playing Nas if we do play. But if he loses to G Green, it takes away from that, because G Green would be the one that broke his 3-year streak. So that would be it. It wouldn't mean as much to me then.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Nas, can't lose. Baby Durant, Archie, you played public school ball in Arkansas, right? What do you feel about the death of public school ball now? Top 100 recruits leaving public schools early for prep schools.
I don't like it. I think I had every chance to go. It's crazy. I had a couple prep schools offer me, my family, money for me to go, and I turned them down. I always believe I have that old school mentality of, I feel like if I'm on the court, I'm enough. Like, you know what I mean? So me being a top 10 recruit, I did it from my public school, which was Sylvan Hills. I didn't see a need for me to go nowhere else. Like, I got everything I needed here. And not only that, me playing how well I did in high school shine light on so many other younger guys now who are in the NBA, like a Malik Monk, a Moses Moody, and Nick Smith Jr. He went to my school. Those guys like that who came up after me, they were able to get light shine on them more, because once I came out, people started, like, all the college coaches were coming to Arkansas. They were coming to Little Rock to see me, or Sherwood. They were coming to Sherwood to see me. I had the gyms packed. So because of that, it brought more attention on the state. And then now Malik comes back out 2 years after me. He's phenomenal. And then it's just a floodgate. So now we have a shit ton of, like, Khalil Ware. He's from that plays with the Heat. He's from Arkansas. So like a lot of these dudes, they came out after I did, but that light got shined on them because of me being one of the guys that came out. You know what I mean? And made noise as a top 10 recruit. Because I don't think before me, we didn't have a McDonald's All-American in a long time. Like, I don't even think Joe Johnson was a McDonald's All-American. So
what year were you McDonald's?
2012.
2012. Okay. Who else was on that team?
McDonald's All-American or Kentucky?
McDonald's.
We had Nerlens. Nerlens was a McDonald's All-American. Kyle Anderson was. Marcus Smart was, I think. Marcus Smart was McDonald's All-American.
I just wanted to know if you.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That was 10 plus years ago. I can't remember everybody. But
Love says, tell him to list his top 5 in the space, one-on-one space.
I think everybody's top 5 is the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is Nas, Zay, Rob, Scoob, and then I go Moon. Some people might go Nesco, but I go Moon. So, I mean, I think everybody pretty much has the same top 5, to be honest. I think that Zay and Nas are like 1A, 1B, though. I don't think that Nas is just definitively number 1, because you have to take into account how Zay dominates everybody he plays. So
I think there's on Swift Hoops, the ranking site, there's 2 ways that you can look at the rankings. And if you look at it a certain way, if you click on one tab, it's got Zay at number 1. If you click on the other tab, it's got Nas. So it like, even the rankings, like the algorithm has them so close, and it's just like based on power rankings or based on all-time rankings. I think that's what it is, because Zay's win against Nas was so long ago that it slowly decays over time.
So let me ask you this.
So if you do it by all time, it's Zay. If you do it by power, it's Nas. What's that?
Who you think will win that game if they go to 30?
I think it's going to be close regardless because Nas being able to shoot threes
It's safe
is
for sure.
it's going to definitely even it out. But the difference with the way Zay plays, I think he's perfect for the one-on-one space. The way he plays, he's just he's absolutely relentless, and like you have to deal with him for 30 points. So
yes,
if Nas wins, it's still gonna be close because it's like you have to deal with Zay. You're not just gonna go in there and beat Zay. Like you got to deal with him for 30. So, I mean, I still think. I mean, Zay's probably like one of my favorite players to watch. Just the way he plays, and you know what you're gonna get for Nas. Yeah, he's got it. He's gonna have to hit some threes.
So you have who winning?
Well, that's why I like one-on-one space. Check up. Check up. I will have to make a prediction on that as soon as when it gets closer. But yeah, when you think about like how Nas played SK, like you don't have those opportunities to have those lapses against his A.
You can't give up 26 and a half to Zay.
And then the way he played against Scoob, again, you get behind.
And that's a problem because Scoob usually is really good at closing.
Yeah, so, but I do think, and I like the rule because I think it cleaned it up and it kept the game from dragging on to. It would have been a 2-hour game had that rule not been in place.
Sure.
But I do think without that rule, it would have favored Scoob a little bit more. But like Scoob had opportunities. He missed a couple like open jump shots.
Yeah, the one where he kind of shook Nas and had. I thought that was game
at the for the three. But even the very first opportunity he had to score for game, the very first one he drove left, little bump off baseline and just missed a clean look. So he had a lot of really good opportunities. So
he had his opportunity. Is no excuse to me for him losing. He could. I don't think he would make one. Like if I'm looking at Scoop, he just lost. But
that was as good as a game you could ask for.
Man, he both had opportunities. The hell out of me, like because I thought that Nas was going to win, but I thought Nas might win like 30-20, 30-22, something like that.
Yeah.
But for him to have him on the ropes like that the whole game, and
that was really impressive.
Like I gotta give Scoop his props for giving Nas that challenge that I didn't think he would give him, and I also got to give Nas his props for being able to handle that and find a way to win that game because that it was a great game.
Yep, I agree. There was one more. Who are y'all top 5 on TNC OTD Ball is Life? We don't have to list the top 5, but it said if they play each other, who's on top of the 3 platforms? I guess let's just combine them because we don't even know how you split up OTD Ball is Life.
Combine those. If you say the top 5 dudes on Ball is Life, OTD versus the top 5 on TNC, I think that the best chance that TNC has at winning games would be Rob and Moon. Now I don't know who you're gonna match them 2 up against, but like whoever you match up Rob and Moon against, I think that they would have the best chance at winning. I think that the other 3 will most likely win their matchups against whoever's on TNC side. But I won't count TNC out because those dudes, like a lot of their dudes can shoot. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if you can shoot, you can stay in the game. So
and I will say with the bonus with the foul rule, with it like that, I actually think that makes it a more interesting game.
For sure, because you got to play you got to like at certain points you can't foul. You got to play defense. That's why I like the rule. Like you can only foul me so much before you really just have to nut up and get a stop.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And I think that's what I want to see the space go towards. Strategic fouling is cool. Like I get that. So I'm not mad at that because even in 5-on-5 you strategically foul sometimes. Like in Europe they're quick to take fouls on fast breaks. You know what I'm saying? So. Like strategically fouling is not a problem, but fouling to where you're abusing it because there's no rule against it is the problem.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people haven't really thought about it enough, but it keeps the games from like that. Again, that Nas Scoob game ended when it was supposed to end.
Yeah,
because yes, Scoob fouled him, but Nas had a wide open layup. He had to foul him, and it's like he shoots a free throw, gets the ball back if he misses, and they're like, but there's no pressure, and I'm like, but the game was over.
Yeah,
Like the
he
game
had a
was going to
layup. He
end.
wasn't gonna miss a layup.
If like to end it, you got to score before it gets to that point. And because there's no timer on the clock, I would rather it be like there's too many fouls on both sides. Every foul after this, you get the ball back, or whatever. I'm like, it ended when it was supposed to end.
Because just think about this. When the first part of that Nas versus Say game, Nas was dominant for sure. No question. Once it turned, now, and I know it was other variables like the crowd and all of that, the water on the floor, but
Oh,
outside
Briscoe.
of that,
Yeah, my bad.
outside of that, once the tables turned and Isaiah started scoring, then it became a thing of Nas just abusing fouls, like fouling him. Now Isaiah was making free throws, but imagine if he missed a few of those. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
and he like that changes that game. But also, if you put the foul rule in on that game, maybe it's a different outcome because
yeah.
now
It's a
Nas,
different,
you know what I'm
completely
saying?
different strategy.
This is a completely different strategy. But he fouled so many times that game to where it's like, okay, that was the first time where I was like, all right, they gotta fix something with these fouls. And then as time go on, then it was like the Bruce and Dooley game. It was a lot of fouling there. Even the Mike Harden and what's the name game? That was the first game of the LA card, LA pay per view. It was a lot of fouling that game at a certain point. So that rule needs to stand. I think it needs to
Yeah,
stay because
I agree.
you know
I think it
it
can be
needs to stay.
tweaked the number can be tweaked, right? Is it 5 fouls? Is it 6 fouls? Is it 7? Whatever. Like the number
I
can be
think
tweaked.
I mean it's 7 right now, but I liked when y'all did the free streaming. It was 5, to be honest.
So here's where I agree with you, and this is where both of us are going to get a lot of flack in the community in the comments. I think having it at 5 for normal games, normal events, it just keeps it quicker. And yes, that means some people are going to foul too many times and give up too many free throws, but it's like that's on them to adjust.
Yeah.
That's on them. That's a strategy that you got to think about. Then I do like 7 probably for pay-per-views, just because how much money is on the line and how many breaks there are, things like that. Like this is a huge event. I think I'm okay with 7 for pay-per-views, but I think for just the single one-off events, 5.
Yeah.
Get through this game.
I'm okay with that. I wanted to be able to see skill sets. Like that's what makes basketball the sport that we love. The grit, seeing people who play really hard, and then seeing skill sets. But you couldn't really see a skill set in that Briscoe game from Briscoe, and we know everybody knows how skilled Briscoe is. We couldn't see it because it was so much fouling going on, and so that's why I was like, okay, when it comes to the ones, I want to be able to see how good you are playing against tough defense, but not just I'm gonna foul you defense. Because realistically, I just got to put my head down and just try to go get a layup. If you're gonna just
Yeah.
foul the shit out of me, you know what I'm saying?
But we've already seen it. We've already seen that. Like we already saw Keem versus Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to see 5 more of those, 10 more of those, 20 more.
For
Like
sure. That was crazy too.
it was fun to watch. Like going back and watching it was. I want to see someone power through that. But now that I've seen it, I don't ever have to see it again. Now, now I'm good to just be like, okay, so these guys are willing to run through a brick wall. Let's just see what their skill looks like now. Let's see other ways to win. So
what do you think the next progression is for Keem? Because Keem is quiet, but Keem, he's the heavyweight champ right now. What is his next progression? Like who does he play?
I think,
Like why doesn't he get to play against a guy like Nas?
because I think Nas built up this matchup kind of with you. He built up.
No, I'm not saying like now. I'm just saying like just up until this point. Like
his
why hasn't?
pathway.
Yeah.
I think what would help Keem out. I think the platforms are still figuring out how to build players. They don't really know how to build them. So I think it's still on the players to build themselves. And like that's what I was saying. Nas understands it. He knows how to build matchups for what he wants. He knows how to politic. He keeps saying. Keem just wants to hoop.
Right.
Moon just wants to hoop. Scoob just wants to hoop. I don't think having I just want to hoop mindset works anymore.
Nah, it don't work for this thing because it's like boxing. Like all the boxers they talk. The ones that don't talk, they don't get the paydays and they don't get the fights. It's the ones who
Yeah.
talk that make people not like them. That's the like. So a lot of people don't know. Like me and Floyd Mayweather, like we're like this. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like he's like my uncle. So he used to always say like the only reason I'm getting paid like this is because I make them hate me. I gotta make them hate me. Everybody want to see me lose. So that's why I talk like I do. Because when I don't lose, I get the biggest paydays. If you talk like that, people want to see your downfall,
Yeah.
and they will pay to see your downfall. But if you keep winning, they'll never see it. So that's why it's like it's a high. That's the part of ones. Like I said, it's a high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree. I think for Keem, just his pathway is going to be tough because he's taking tough matchup, even playing Hagel, because he beat Dang, and he's an unknown. That game could have gone any way. So, but the fact that Keem came in, beat him by 25 or whatever, then Keem plays Joseph Lewis. Either person could have won that game. His first game was against Zay. So, and then he played Bruce. Like, so he's not taking easy matchups, but it's just like his pathway to get into that top 10 or top 5 conversation, it feels almost impossible. If he's not going to do it the LP route, if he's not going to do it the content route. So I think the platforms will figure out a better way to build players up. But if the platform doesn't do it, yeah, it's going to be tough for Keem to just I think he's a fan favorite, oddly enough, but it's just not enough. Like the fans aren't loud enough to like push him into certain matchups.
Yeah, for sure. So he just on him. He got to make it happen. Basically, you think he can make it happen by playing more, or you think he got to talk?
Yeah, I think his talent is just. I think his game is loud enough by itself to where people are going to want to see him play. And he's also had success, like every environment he's been thrown into. Like that Bruce game is going to go down as one of the most pivotal games ever, just because of what it meant for the scene and how physical it was. But it was also the first belt game we ever got. Then he put his belt up against Joseph on a pay-per-view. So it's like he's doing all the right, he's ticking all the boxes, but it's like something has to happen to like, it's still not sticking in a lot of people's heads. So it's like something else.
He need a statement win then.
Something to point to.
Well,
or he
what would you count as a statement win? Because the only guys who really count as statement wins are the top 3 guys for real.
Scoob, Rob, LP.
But it's like, okay, but I don't
I
even
think
know.
LP. I think LP.
I don't even know if they're gonna say LP's a statement win right now.
Oh, you don't think so?
Just simply because he hasn't won against like a top guy yet. Not saying that that's not a big win for it. Wouldn't be a big win for King, but I think that people in the comments would be like, okay, he beat LP, but LP then lost to this person and this person. So it's like we ain't going. We respect the win, but not it ain't weighed as much as if he was to be like Zay or Rob or even Scoob. I don't think they'll weigh it that much because of the couple losses that he got because they're all against them top dudes. So
yeah, I was kind of thinking more so from a loud perspective because I think that'll force you into a face-off. It's going to force you into some content. It's going to force you to. It's going to force you to contend with LP. Like, look at. I think Joseph Lewis's stocks since he played LP like through the roof. Even though he lost to Keem afterwards, I think people are still really high on him just because they saw how once he played. And then he got picked up by TNC too. But yeah, once you play LP, I feel like that boosts your stocks too. I could be wrong.
No, it does, but it used to. I think before this loss against Zay, it really would, but I don't know about now after this loss versus Zay because that was a like a definitive win. It wasn't like a nail biter. So
Yeah,
I don't know how people view LP now when it comes to that. Now, when it comes to fives, I think that everybody still views LP as pretty much one of those top dudes, especially how he played in the tournament.
yep,
But when it comes to ones, I don't know. Not saying he can't be and that he's not capable because we all know he is, but just based off of what has happened with his 1v1 so far, when it comes to good dudes, because the dudes who ain't on his level, he's thrashed them like he should. But
yeah,
when it comes to dudes on his level, it hasn't been the same outcome, you know. So I don't know. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. I think that would be a good game though, because that would be a game for it would be a good game for both of them. It'd be a
it
good
makes
game
sense
for
for both.
LP because I think LP needs he needs a big win. And I think Keem will be a big win because he's the heavyweight champ. But is Keem a big enough win to warrant another,
You just that's going to be the worst world ever if Lamar Peters has a belt. We're going to be hearing about that every day. There's going to be a post about it every 2 hours. We need to make this game happen. Actually, the more we talk about it, I think this game needs to happen. LP versus Keem, set it up.
LP versus game wouldn't be bad, man. So do you got to put your belt up every game?
No. So Bruce ruined the whole thing because he just decided to put the belt up against Keem for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because he always, Bruce always wants to play for the highest stakes. He just wants to he wants to play the game. So he's good for the culture. But then now Keem feels like he's got to put the belt up because he's kind of like Bruce. He doesn't want there to be like any excuses or anything left over. So I think he's going to keep putting the belt up. You shouldn't, but he's going to keep doing it.
I mean, shit, when you box, you put the belt up every time on it?
I think, well, unless you're like out of your weight class or something.
Let me ask you a question now. And this might be a stretch, but it's a question I'm just curious. I saw the other day Nesco said something about being done soon, right? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Do you think any of that has to do with him losing to Jerome?
So I don't know if he's like, I don't want to speculate because I don't even know if it was serious or not. But I do think if this isn't even like a Nesco thing, this is something I've been thinking for a while. The one-on-one space has grown in the last year and a half to where, again, think about all the players we just mentioned in the last 10 minutes or so. They're like really good players.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you want to stay in that top 10, now you have to put in full-time effort. You have to constantly be like, I think it's now turned into like a full-time job. And I think there's a lot of players that are getting left behind and like don't want it to be that serious. They want it to be kind of serious, but they don't want it to be that serious. So I could see that being the case. I could see a world where like he played Jerome Randall. He's a pro, and that's a tough game. Then he played Mead in Pure Ones. He did get hurt, but it's like Mead's another pro.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 27, 20, 28 or something. It's like, okay, this is not getting easier.
Mm-hmm.
So I could definitely see a world where that happens. But also, I mean, Nesco said it for a long time that he doesn't want to do this forever. And he wants to get in more into the commentary side, not commentary, but just like events, like running events, building up youth. He has like a lot of youth stuff he wants to do. Like for I know he does like a lot of coaching and stuff now too. So it wouldn't surprise me. I don't think it would be like, oh, I lost to Jerome Randall, so I'm retiring. But I do think like if you see like, damn, this is getting tougher and tougher, I might as well just go ahead and transition into the other job ventures I was wanting to do anyways.
That's what you're saying. One more question.
Yeah, we'll do one more. This one. Oh, go ahead. I thought you meant read one more.
Oh, no. You can read as many as you want. Like I told you, I don't have nothing to do. But this is a question I have for you before we ask somebody else a question.
Okay.
Do you think that not even necessarily all these platforms, because I know everybody always, but do you think that all of these games being played is saturating the space in a sense? Because you're seeing so many different games, so many different players playing. Do you think that, because all of the games aren't good games.
No.
So do you think that is a problem, or do you think that doesn't really matter?
No, I think it'll work itself out. While I completely agree, so it's two different things. Yes, there are too many games. There's too many platforms. There's too many games. There's too much content going on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think the smaller platforms are going through a phase right now where it's like they're competing against each other. Mm-hmm. So some of them are going to do well. Their production is going to pick up. It's going to be good. They're going to start getting good matchups. And then that becomes another platform that you trust and you spend your time watching.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's going to be a lot of platforms that fall off and can't keep up. So I think that problem is going to fix itself by there just being too many games.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you look at Judgment Day, and that was the most like successful pay-per-view event. And it was the most recent one.
Yeah.
You look at Pep's. Sorry. You look at Pep's event coming up, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
definitely going to be watching that with all the NBA
Mm-hmm.
players and whatever. So I think yes, there's too many, but I think it'll work itself out. People are going to stop putting time into events when they realize they're not making much money.
Right. Pep is
Does
putting
that
on
make sense?
Pep is putting on some shit, man. He
I
he
know.
ain't fucking around. He making these events happen.
So now these smaller, because I know last year every event that came out I bought and I watched
Mm-hmm.
every
Mm-hmm.
single one.
Mm-hmm.
This year I've canceled a couple subscriptions. I've stopped
Mm-hmm.
watching some events, but then there's been a few where I'm like, I have to be there for that one. I have to watch
Yeah.
that. Can't wait. So I think that's going to happen. I think most people are going to start making those decisions, and then those platforms will just stop posting. And there's going to be a certain quality that a game is going to have to be put on YouTube.
For sure. For sure.
So I think that'll get figured out over the next year.
Okay. I see that.
Ronan asked with the $5, thank you. Do you agree overseas guys see the one space as a good brand builder right now that aren't EuroLeague?
Well, I don't think that if you say brand builder as far as just getting more popularity for yourself, yes, but the 1v1 space to me, I don't know, but I don't honestly think that the 1v1 space will get guys um like you can't send your 1v1 film to a team and they sign you off of that. I don't think that it does that for you. I think that it gets you more popularity. Like I think that within people who look at the space. So like even with me, like I've especially with this whole Nas debacle, I've gotten a lot more traction to my page. And just even since I've been talking about ones in general, I've gotten a little more traffic to my page uh, on all my social media platforms. So I think that it does that, but I don't think that it can. Like I said, I don't think that it does much for you as far as trying to, get a job overseas or something like that. I don't think so.
Yeah. Leonid asked, Archie, do you already have a plan for the game? Scoob was successful forcing Nas to dribble or drive to the right. Are you going to use this strategy?
Um,
You don't have to give away any game plans if you don't want to either.
no, I don't. My game plan. Well, I don't have a game plan yet because first off, the game isn't official yet, so it's nothing to game plan for yet, honestly, until it's official. But if I had to have something, I would watch him. I've watched his games, but I would watch a little more. I've seen some stuff now that I know that I could use defensively to make it tough for him, along with my physical tools already that I have. Um, but the biggest thing for me, even just in general, is when I watch ones, a lot of guys tire out. But those guys tire out to me because they try to do too much. So the biggest thing for me, which this is how I am anyway, is when I'm on offense, simplifying my game, taking what he gives me. He has to give me something. So I'm comfortable at all three levels of scoring. So I'm going to take what he gives me, and I'm gonna make those shots, and then I'll have more energy for when I do miss to guard him. But I'm not going to be the guy who does like 4 or 5 moves, 3 or 4 moves into a shot because unless it's necessary. Like I'm not going to counter unless I have to counter. But if he doesn't make me counter, then I'm just going to shoot whatever shot he gives. But
Yeah.
I also know how to create space and to make an illusion to where he might not think I'm open, but I know I'm open. So like I have little things that I can do that I know of, little nuances I have that if that game happens, I'll be ready for sure.
I know when we talked in person, one of the things we both said, but there's so much more room for the space to grow with that sort of thinking, like the efficiency side of things. And again, you alluded to it, but when you're playing overseas 5-on-5, like teams are game planning against you. So I went through a phase in my career, like early in my career, like I wanted to get to the basket. I was trying to duck my shoulder, get to the basket. So every pick and roll, they just went under the screen. I can shoot threes, but am I willing to shoot at a high enough percentage to force them to change their coverage?
Right.
So it's not just shooting threes and being able to hit them. It's no, I've got to rep that out to where they know if you go under, I'm shooting this three.
For sure.
So now they change their coverage, and now they're icing the screen, they're blitzing the screen. And it's like, okay, so now I've got to plan for that. Now I've got to plan for that. So then when you end up playing, it's exactly what you're saying. You take what the defense gives. Nothing more, nothing less, but I'm playing for 40 minutes, so I've got to be efficient this whole time. So I think there's a lot of guys in the one-on-one scene that they're really skilled and they're really talented, but a lot of them rely on their tough shot-making ability so much. And it's like that should be just when you're forced to, when you have to, that little runaway, one of my pet peeves, that little runaway dribble everyone does. And I'm like, if you lose the ball and you have to run away and get it, okay, that's when you can get into that bag. But everything else, like your triple threat, being able to get downhill, once you get stopped, and this is something Zay does and not many people do, once you get stopped, can you just give a little bump and get your hands free? And most people still can't do those things. So I do think there's a lot of room in the space to grow for that sort of stuff, but I do think it's slowly getting there. Again, watching Scoob in that last pay-per-view, I was really impressed by how much he added to his game.
Yeah.
And so some of these guys are still improving, still adding to their game. I think it's incredibly impressive.
But you know what's crazy? Even when I watched Scoob play, he had a hell of a game plan. But it was still certain possessions where I'm like, he didn't get a good shot off because he tried to do a little too much, you know. And it can happen.
With Scoob though, I say this: would you change anything with his offense
versus that game, or just in general?
Just in general, like would you coach him to play differently? Because I feel like the way he moves is not efficient, and I talk about this a lot in my breakdowns. But I feel like when you change the way he plays with certain things, it might change too much. And it's like
sometimes he do a little too much, and sometimes he get it. You can tell he gets a little too ahead of himself, and then it forces him to shoot something he really didn't want to shoot. So you're like, you know what I'm saying? He moved a little too fast instead of analyzing what he should have did. Like, to me, as I got older and became a really more efficient player, I started really looking at basketball like, okay, this really is a game of chess. Like, okay, I'm comfortable if your hand is down to shoot this shot. If I make one or two, now you press up. If you press up right, I know what I like to do going right, whether it's me getting to a pull-up, me getting to the rim. If I get to the rim and I try to go off one, and you're a shot blocker, and you try to get my shot, now I know to play off 2 feet against you. You know what I'm saying? So if I like going left, I know me going left, I like to bump with my shoulder and get separation for a step back. If I get that separation for that step back, or if I don't get the separation off the step back, I know I can get through to you, through your body, straight line to the left, and then I can go finish. So it's really a game of chess when you really analyze it, but that just comes with experience and having to deal with different coverages and defense over a certain amount of time. You just start to understand, hey, you can't just be one dimensional. Like, you can't just be a straight driver. You can't just be a straight shooter if you're going to be high level, unless you're just a fucking out of this world shooter or a fucking out of this world driver. But even as an out of this world driver, your shit is limited. You know what I'm saying? Because especially in overseas, it's no 3 seconds. So everybody's in the paint. They just waiting on you. So when you just a straight driver, it takes away from everything. But when you can shoot, you got a mid-range, and you can get to the rim, now you really can play chess with these guys, because you have a counter for everything they try to do. They want to go under the screen. I got clips. You go under, I can shoot that. Like, I know for a fact I'm probably shooting on the year, I shoot 36, 37 from 3 on almost 8 attempts a game. But it's different. It ain't catch and shoot. It's some catch and shoot. It's some.
You're very similar to my percentage, but you're shooting them to open up layups.
Yeah,
you're shooting
open
them
up
to
layups and open up my mid range. Like my biggest thing is I love when a guy guards me 2 ways. If you guard me far back, like bait me to shoot, I love that, because I can take my time and knock it down. If you guard me super close, I like that, because I'm so good at straight line driving, and I'm quick, and I'm long, to where one dribble, I'm at the rim from the 3-point line, 1 or 2 dribbles, and I know how to cut your body off to get to the rim and lay it up. If you play me in between, I like that too, because
you gotta guess. It's a little bit more of a guessing game, though.
It's a little bit more of a guessing game if you don't know how to eat up space. So I know how to eat up space because when you play in between, all I'm going to do more times than not is jab at you, get my foot in between you and in the rim, and once I jab at you this way, you in between my shoulders here. I'm gonna throw that shoulder there, bump you, and now I got the space, and now I got my shot. So
Yeah.
I just kind of play like that. So I have something I can do for whatever you do, but that comes over time of learning how to play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I call that like a rubber band. Like I always try to keep the rubber band pulled tight.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're just backed off, like that rubber band is pulled tight because I already have a closeout. I can just shoot it. So now if I do a shot fake and you start running towards me, it's just like I can always get by you on a closeout.
Sure.
If you're really close to me, I have to create some tension with that rubber band. So exactly what you're saying. If I start moving and I give you a little bump, well, now that rubber band is tight again, and it's like you got to close that space. Once you have to close that space, I can go right, I can go left, I can hesitate into my shot now. So this is like what I do with my breakdowns. I try to like think why they did a move or how it builds up into another move. And it's funny. I don't know if did you watch Zay in that recent Toronto game? And you see, he just did the same move every time. He just goes left and then spins back right.
They do the same thing. He's gonna go left, spin back, float, or if you bag up, he's just gonna shoot a catch and shoot three.
And you can tell now the defender just kept letting him get to the same spot. And it's like you have to at least just force him to do something else. He still might be good at it, but just do something else. But then you watch what Zay does. As soon as he went right one time to that elbow, Zay just turns all the way left and is like, you got to go full speed left. And he couldn't go left. And so I do think that's where the gap in the one-on-one space is closing, is you're starting to get guys like Zay that do start thinking the game like a pro thinks of the game. The difference is still Zay isn't 6'5" thinking that way. He's not 6'5" elite shooter thinking that way. But I think we're slowly, other than the physical, like just genetic gifts, those guys are starting to think like pros now, which I really appreciate.
You can see the skill development coming in these guys. Like from the time Nas first got on the scene to now, I see he's gotten a lot better. From the time I first seen Scoob, he's gotten a lot better. The first time I seen Zay, he's gotten a lot better because Zay wouldn't even shoot at all when he first got on.
Yeah.
You couldn't pay him to shoot it. Now he's actually shooting it and believing he's going to make it. And his percentages, the last few games, I think he was 4 for 9 in the pay-per-view. I think he was 5 for 11. Those are good percentages, 44 and 45%. So he's more confident. And then even against Bruce in the pay-per-view, I think that was Summer Jam, he shot good. And that I think he was like 4 for 7 or something. So I think he's starting to figure it out, and he's gotten better. I think Bruce has gotten better. To me, when Bruce first came to the scene, I didn't think he was that good at ones. I thought he was better in the team-oriented space. But now he's become a more consistent shooter, to where you got to respect his jumper more. He's always been a pretty decent mid-range guy, but as far as just shooting the three, he never really wanted to really do that. But now he shoots it and he can run them off. So I think all these guys are getting better. You see him in the gym. I always see Dev in the lab with him in the gym. So they're getting better. I think that they just got to continue to learn the game of making the game simple. And I think that's the best thing that Nas does better than them.
Super efficient, super simple.
Super efficient. It's super simple. And I think that's why he beats a lot of dudes. Like, if you, like, when he played against Kyrie, when he played against, who else was that? I can't think of it, but I know for sure when he played against Kyrie was just giving him the shot. He wasn't wasting no. Like, if you're gonna give me stand still threes, I'm gonna just keep shooting it. Like, I'm confident I can make it. I'm gonna just keep shooting it. But sometimes that guys will miss 2 or 3 in a row, and now they want to divert to something else. You know what I'm saying? So,
and
that's what I do like about him.
Yeah, I think that's definitely like another pro mentality thing of like, you've definitely played against somebody at one point in your career where if your hand was down, they just make it every time. Yes, like, and I'm not saying not guarding them. I just mean if you're there, but your hand is just not there.
Like, if anybody that guards me like this, I love it.
It's an open shot.
I don't care how close you are. Please guard me like this. Because if you do that, you're not stopping this at all. That's not stopping this. This, For me, it's not stopping that because all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go around your arm, and I'm coming right here. I know how to shoot from different places. Like I can go from here to here, I can go from here to here. So the best way to guard me from shooting a shot, you literally have to get in my hip. You have to get
Also,
in my hip.
probably active, right? We spoke about this in
If you
person.
do
It's like,
this right here, that's cool. That's cool if you do something like that. Like that's cool. But then there comes my jab work. Like I'm gonna jab you a couple times, see what you're gonna do. But if you're doing this right here, that means you're close enough for me to attack you more times than not. Because if you was doing this right here and it wasn't close enough to where this affects this, that means you ain't in my shooting pocket, so it don't mean shit. But you gotta
yeah.
be able to, you gotta be close enough to be in my shooting pocket to do this. So if you're
So
that close within my shooting pocket and I'm going here, I'm just waiting to see when you move or if you're gonna come a little closer because I'm acting like I'm and then I'm by because you in my shooting pocket right
this
here.
is
So
so
now
you're
that
doing
means you're
the
close enough for me to drive.
you're doing the Kobe stuff now. So this is what when I used to watch Kobe and we're like trying to learn how why his footwork is the way it is. It's that sort of
Mhm.
stuff. It's that so the one-on-one scene right now, most of the players, and I say this with a lot of basketball players, most of them are out there just running around, but the
Mhm.
one-on-one space right now are most of them are like the Dre guy that Zay just played. They've
Mhm.
got that, they're just going to play.
Yeah.
We're getting to a point where they're the next level, where there's Zay now. Zay is like, I'm doing this one thing the whole time and you can't stop it.
Mhm.
The next point is now what you're saying and what we're talking about of like these guys, if you force him right, he's got answers for that. If you force him left, he's got answers for that. If you back up,
Mhm.
he can shoot a high percentage. But
Mhm.
both players being at that level is the
Yeah.
part that I'm excited for the next phase of 1v1. Because now, and again, I felt that with Keem and Joseph Lewis.
Mhm.
You can't just send him one way. You can't just do this. But there's still a lot they can learn with like the triple threat stuff you're talking
Yeah.
about and being a little bit more efficient. So that's the part I've really been enjoying is like people are starting to get it and they're starting to really understand high level scoring, but
Mhm.
in a one-on-one setting.
Mhm.
It's really interesting to see.
No, it's dope. It's dope to see the progression. You see it for sure. You still got dudes like you say that do a little too much or looking for views. I think Scar used to do a really bad job of that, trying to get the home run play. I think he's gotten better at taking what the defense gives him. He still has lapses, but I think he's getting better. He's still young too, so he got time. I would really like to see Scar though, because Scar to me is one of the more skilled guys, especially with the ball in his hands. I would really like to see Scar be able to make noise to be considered a really top guy, because he has the skill set to me to do it. He just isn't there yet. You know what I
Yeah, it's
mean?
just that. I mean, it's the relentlessness we talk about. It's the efficiency
Hmm.
and finding that because I do think now we're also saying, well, what does Keem need to do to get more games? And it's like be more
Hmm.
flashy and be so it's like there is a balance in one on
Not
one.
necessarily
Like,
because Zay not flashy at all to me.
but like even with what he's done in his career, no one's really talked about him much until this last like finally now people are giving him his respect really for the
But
LP
has
game,
Zay
you know?
always been known consensus top three? To
Yeah.
me, he has.
Well, for me personally, he's one of my favorite players to watch because of
Mhm.
the relentlessness, the angles that he takes, like just the way he plays, the efficiency. But
Mhm.
most people in the one-on-one scene, like he's just quiet, he's too quiet, and his games aren't
Yeah,
loud. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
But I do think it's getting more to that point where I think people appreciate the winning now. They appreciate what it takes to win games and be good for a long period of time.
For sure.
I'm gonna have to go soon. But
Yeah.
did you have anything that you wanted to address, or any other things that you wanted to say before we get off here?
Only thing I want to say for anybody in here, I appreciate y'all for listening. I hope anybody that's listening to what I'm saying they're getting a better understanding of who I am and my perspective on basketball. Because I know sometimes people might think that I'm coming off as a guy and I don't even know how, but some people think I'm a little arrogant. I'm just like I don't know how you think that, but um, my perspective on man, I love basketball in all forms. I love basketball from ones to twos, threes, fours, fives. I love basketball. I watch all type of basketball. So I hope that with me talking, y'all can kind of understand more. Like, hey, this guy really does watch basketball, have a high IQ of the game, and I really love every nuance of it. I respect everything about it. I respect the scene. Um, this game with Nas, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So, you know, we gonna see what happens when I talk to Dave as time gets closer. But I just, hey, if it happens, I'm gonna give you guys a show. If not, then life goes on. But I'll still be around to answer questions and talk about the space because I'm interested in it. You know, so that's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Like I said, for me, my content, my channel, it's a lot more of these types of conversations. Obviously, I did want to touch on the Nas situation or whatever, but this is what my community come for. They like these conversations. You see a couple comments here, like love these detailed Hooper talks, Archie giving free games. So I think most people that interact or that know of you, that interact with the one-on-one scene or 5-on-5 as a whole, I think most people think like you're good for the space. Most people hear what you're saying and it's like they're fine with it. I don't think most people take issues. It's exactly what you said earlier. It's the kids, it's the people that are in one-on-one basketball for the loud noise. Like they're the ones that are taking it and running with it. So
100%.
yeah, I think majority of hoopers, majority of people, like, it's not a big deal, but now it is an exciting conversation to actually have, seeing you possibly be on the scene. Even if you don't play, like I said, for me personally, watching you dissect the game a little bit in person, it's awesome. And I think more people having access to that, it's really good to see. So,
for sure.
Yeah, I got nothing else. But anytime you want to have a conversation, man, feel free.
Man, I appreciate you, Coach. We can do this definitely again for sure. I mean, we might be able to have a conversation after the pay-per-view event on the 26th. I think that'd be a good time.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, man. All right, take care. Good luck for the rest of the season too.
Appreciate it, bro.
Yep, of course. That was a good chat. That was a good talk. Thanks for the $2, Leonid. Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that. Did you guys like having an extra stream today? An extra stream, another interview, a free two more hours of content. There you go.